Yeah, well, before I actually talk about the kind of things what we are doing, I just would like to respond, on some of the points which our panelists have mentioned. One of the fundamental things which is a problem with the life insurance is that the cost of operations and the cost of distribution is pretty high. And because the cost is pretty high, you will not be in position to tell the customer that this is the cost which you will have to pay for distribution and for operations, and that's why you made the product so complex and add so many layers of opacity which ultimately conceal the real benefits. And this is my personal view, not necessarily my professional view. So the fundamental problem with the life insurance is if somebody is actually comparing the cost to the benefit, and the distribution costs and operational costs take away most of the first year premiums. And if you find a way of reducing those things without, of course, compromising the stakeholders' value, because shareholders have invested money and they expect a genuine return on that. But if you can find some way, like in various other industries they have found out, to dramatically reduce the cost of operations and the cost of distribution, then I think there is definitely a case for making life insurance as a product pretty attractive in relation to other financial products. So in that, pursuing that particular thought process, we are thinking that, how do we make sure that the distribution costs are reduced? One is to make it online and web portals and all. But if you look at the financial services, the most well-established piece in the financial services is the banking industry. And banking industry, for a period of last 2 decades or so, suddenly went very high-tech compared to what it used to be before. Like nowadays, people do not visit the banks at all, even though it's in a rural area, semi-urban area. They'll go to an ATM and they'll do most of the transactions. And people who are not necessarily very literate, they also transact through the ATMs because it's a very intuitive process there. So in such kind of situations, then we thought that why can't we piggyback on the ATMs and establish an insurance distribution model there, insurance service model there, because it's already an accepted way of doing business. So for that, of course, we've been talking to the NPCI for making sure that the certain kind of modifications are made at the master financial switch, so that the ATM of one bank, if customer goes to another ATM and then tries to withdraw money, there, of course, the same kind of policy values should be displayed and the same kind of service and opportunity should be there, and there should be an opportunity for him to also perhaps do a purchase. So for that, a certain kind of modifications need to be made. At an individual bank level, you can do that with minor modifications, but if you want to do it, it is intra-ATM, what is the interoperability between 2 ATMs of 2 different banks, then you need to do changes in the master financial switch. That is something that the project which we are now engaged with the NPCA. Thankfully, there's a lot of positive response that is coming up. And once it happens, I would like to say that, the entire policy experience, the customer experience can dramatically change. One of the biggest problems what we have in the life insurance industry is the touch point of the product with the customer life is not very strong. Unlike a banking product, which you carry it in your wallet and then you see it, the logo of the bank, and you connect it to the bank every day, the life insurance product does not touch this thing. So, but it's possible for you to really put the same policy values in the card and you can co-brand it if you want. So in case of emergency, maybe it's a health or maybe it's some sort of a personal accident or even death, the single instrument of the card can actually read the entire policy values, can act as a one single point of contact for connecting to the bank, connecting to the insurance company, withdraw the policy values, maturity, even death claims and all that. So this is something that it can dramatically change, and hopefully there's